I want to turn to trade right now. Markets are edging lower this morning amid tariff tensions between the U.S. and China. This, of course, coming as U.S. officials are confirming the delegation led by Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin has now left the building. They left Beijing. Right before their departure, the group sent China a list of demands, including an immediate cut of at least $200 billion in the trade deficit by the end of 2020, while calling for the country to stop subsidies for advanced technologies outlined in the Made in China 2025 plan. Joining us now, the author of The Coming Collapse of China, Gordon Chang. Gordon, it's good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Maria.
Will they be able to get some of these demands? What's your take on what the U.S. is asking for and what success looks like?
Well, I think we should be able to because we do have that overwhelming leverage. You know, we're the trade deficit country, $375.2 billion last year. 88.8% of their overall merchandise trade surplus last year related to us. We've got the much bigger economy. We don't need the lightsabers in order to get what we want on trade.
Yeah, but I mean, right now, you know, talking about the trade deficit, as Dagan has mentioned so many times, that's really not as important as some things like opening markets to foreign companies in China, or stealing the technology. They do all these venture capital deals, and then they end up transferring the technology to Chinese companies. Will they actually change that?
You know, that's really, really hard right now because, you know, Xi Jinping, the Chinese ruler, has made the Chinese economy much less open over the last 5 years. And until we're really willing to impose great costs, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm concerned that, you know, last week President Trump, when he was meeting with Angela Merkel, said, oh, by the way, I'll give the Chinese an easy ride on trade if they help me on North Korea, something that he tweeted about a number of times last year. Well, if you're Xi Jinping, you're hearing that and saying, oh, OK, I'm going to be intransigent on trade. So I'm concerned that the president is not going to use the power that we have in order to get the Chinese where they need to be. We can do it. The just question is there political will?
Does the U.S. look weak sending so many individuals over to China? I mean, you've got multiple cabinet secretaries, top economic advisors. You know, that kind of perception is a big deal from China's perspective. How are they viewing just the pure fact of who came over to talk about this?
Yeah, I didn't know you were a mind reader, Brian. Yeah, of course.
One of my many talents.
Is that what you were thinking as well?
Absolutely. You know, you got two cabinet secretaries. You got the USTR Lighthizer. You got Navarro. You got our friend Kudlow.
Did Navarro go?
Yeah, Navarro went. I mean, who was left in Washington? You know, and the Chinese, we don't see this as a sign of weakness. What we see are trying to do is settle this responsibly. But Beijing says, look, from their perspective, these guys are weak because they're coming to our magnificent capital.
Yeah, but China called a meeting. China requested a meeting.
Yeah, they summoned us, is the way they look at it. That's the problem. You know, and at some point, I think what we're going to have to say to them is, look, there's some really important issues here, but you got to come to the American capital if you want to solve them.
But what happened was, it's worth noting that the trade, the point man on trade from Beijing, the new vice premier, Liu He, he came to Washington and kind of got rebuffed. Like he was not really treated with the seriousness that a visit like that would warrant. So I think that there was some, I'm asking this, was there an issue with, we already sent our trade man to Washington and he got nothing from you guys. So you want something now, you come to us.
Yeah, but the question is whether we should have given him anything. And the answer to that, I think, is probably no, because what we've seen over the last 5 years, there's been...
No, but we didn't even give him specific demands when he was here.
Yeah, okay.
So they didn't know what they wanted.
Yeah, right. Look, it's like, oh, okay, we want $200 billion in a lower trade deficit. That's basically the only thing that we're asking for.
Dagan, the issue there is simple. Stop violating your WTO obligations. Stop stealing U.S. intellectual property. Just stop doing what you've done for the last 3 decades. It's not that hard. And, you know, and the United States has been very clear about this. Trump administration, Obama administration before it, Bush administration before that. We have told them what we want to do. You know, this is not a question of them not understanding the American position on this.
Well, look, I want to ask you this, how this... The front page of the Wall Street Journal, a critical story that the Chinese military are targeting American flight crews in the skies over the East African nation of Djibouti using high-powered laser in what amounts to a new show of Chinese harassment of the U.S. military. How does that play into the trade story?
What was that, by the way? You're right.
This is an attack on the United States. This is something that we've got to deal with. We've allowed the Chinese for far too long to harass, attack our planes, our vessels. And, you know, thank God the injuries were minor, but this is the first time I can think of that the People's Republic of China has actually injured American servicemen after the Korean War. You know, at some point...
What timing? Why are they doing this now?
Right.
Well, the delegations...
There's a lot of reasons. I think the Chinese military is sort of off the leash, and I think Xi Jinping has let them do that. Also because, you know, we have seen in prior administrations a failure to actually protect our vessels and our ships. We've allowed them to harass us. And so the Chinese just think, well, of course we're going to be able to get away with it.
Well, then there's the hostages, right? I mean, there's increasing pressure mounting for Pyongyang to release 3 American prisoners from North Korea following reports the detainees could be freed ahead of this historic summit between Kim Jong-un and President Trump. The White House is remaining tight-lipped about this. Listen to this.
We can't confirm the validity of any of the reports currently out about their release, but we certainly would see this as a sign of goodwill if North Korea were to release the 3 Americans ahead of discussions between President Trump and Kim Jong-un.
Your thoughts on that, Gordon? And by the way, we should point out that China has been helpful with North Korea.
It has been helpful if you go back, let's say, 2 years ago. But if you go back only 2 months ago, China has been starting to blatantly violate UN sanctions. So their behavior has deteriorated. But the thing about this, you know, this is because the Trump administration has been able to push Kim Jong-un into a position where he's making concessions beforehand. This is a very good sign for us, Maria, that they're even thinking now of releasing these guys. And by the way, there may be a 4th American in North Korea, a guy named David Snedden. It's not entirely clear that he's there, but we should get from the Kim folks, we need to know, are they holding them? We need a statement from them either confirming that they have him or saying they don't, because the family deserves that.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Gordon, great insights from you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Maria.
Gordon Chang joining us there.